They say success leaves clues, but sometimes the most profound clues are the ones hiding in plain sight, sitting on the shelves of the world's most influential people. Imagine a book, a seemingly simple manual, that whispers the same foundational truths to a generation of entrepreneurs and leaders. A book that has guided millions, not by providing complicated market strategies, but by fundamentally rewiring the very mechanism of their thought. This is the hidden legacy of David J. Schwartz's timeless work, The Magic of Thinking Big, a book once reportedly mandatory reading for some of the world's most ambitious sales teams. A book whose core principles resonate in the philosophies of modern giants. It addresses a silent, universal disease that cripples more dreams than any recession or setback, the disease of small thinking. We are often trapped in the mundane, operating with a built-in limiting thermostat. We often tell ourselves that this is impossible or that we are not enough. This summary is not merely a recounting of concepts. It is an expedition into the depths of your own potential, a masterclass in escaping that self-imposed cage. By the end of this narrative, you will possess the mental blueprint to dramatically increase your expectation of life and unlock the tools to achieve it. The bedrock of Schwartz's entire philosophy is a brutal, yet liberating truth. What you believe, you attract. It's not a vague, mystical concept. It is a principle rooted in psychological cause and effect. The size of your success is directly proportional to the size of your belief. Schwartz argues that success is not primarily determined by intellect, education, or even luck, but by the magnitude of the goals you set and the steadfastness of your conviction in achieving them. A person with a brilliant mind who thinks small will consistently be outperformed by a person of average intelligence who dares to think vastly bigger. While the former's beliefs have set a low ceiling, the latter's expansive expectations have become an accelerating force. The primary engine of human performance is not the physical body or the academic degree. It is the thought controller within the mind. The moment you permit yourself to think big, you inherently activate your creativity, harness your energy, and naturally begin to look for big solutions instead of focusing on small obstacles. It is a psychological ignition sequence. The big thought precedes the big action, and the big action precipitates the big result. The true magic lies not in the result, but in the deliberate, conscious choice to think an improbable thought, and then to live up to it. The book breaks down this foundational principle into actionable, psychological shifts, transforming abstract ambition into tangible daily practices. We will delve into 3 of the most powerful and counterintuitive lessons. Theme 1. Cure yourself of Excusitis. The first and most pervasive obstacle to thinking big is what Schwartz clinically labels Excusitis, the pathological need to create and cling to reasons for underachievement. This affliction manifests in 4 primary forms. Excuses based on health, intelligence, age, and luck. We often tell ourselves, I can't because my health isn't perfect, I'm not smart enough, I'm too old or too young, or I just don't have the lucky breaks. Schwartz teaches us that the cure for Excusitis begins with the shocking realization that no one is perfect, and excuses are nothing more than creative inventions designed to protect the ego from the discomfort of effort and failure. The truly successful individual understands that intelligence is not a fixed quantity, but a malleable resource developed through thoughtful direction. When a small thinker faces an obstacle, they ask, can I do this? But the big thinker will ask that how can he do this? The focus shifts from the inherent, unchangeable limitation to the process of overcoming it. They learn that a great work ethic can consistently overcome a slight gap in talent. To practice this today, start by identifying your primary excuse, the one you repeat most often. Write it down and then, for a week, consciously act as if that excuse is irrelevant. If your excuse is lack of intelligence, spend an hour every day deliberately studying the process of how a leader in your field approaches problems. Shift your self-talk from I lack X to I will acquire the skills needed for X. The antidote to Excusitis is always action-oriented direction. Theme 2. Build confidence and destroy fear. Fear, often disguised as prudence or caution, is the primary deterrent to big thinking. Schwartz teaches that fear is not some external threat. It is an internal process, an entirely manufactured thought pattern that paralyzes action. Confidence, conversely, is not an inherited trait. It is a state of mind that we must deliberately manufacture and enforce. This suggests that you can think your way into fear, and therefore, you can think your way into confidence. The key tool here is the concept of act against fear, acting your way into the desired state of mind. When you encounter a frightening situation, the worst thing you can do is withdraw and overanalyze. Withdrawal only feeds the fear, giving it intellectual justification. Instead, take immediate, decisive, and even slightly exaggerated action. This is the moment to remember that all fear is psychological, and all action is curative. The moment you take an aggressive, positive step toward the source of your anxiety, the fear begins to dissipate. To practice this today, pick one area where you habitually feel timid. Perhaps speaking up in meetings, approaching a potential client, or asking for a raise. Before the next opportunity arises, adopt a front row attitude. Literally sit in the front row. If possible, make eye contact with everyone. Speak first in the discussion, and force yourself to move fast. This physical commitment to confidence, this act of owning the moment, will create the psychological reality of courage. Theme 3. Go the extra mile. Thinking big is meaningless without the commitment to big output. The person who performs above and beyond the required minimum is the one who will be noticed, respected, and promoted. This is the extra mile principle, a hallmark of all true leaders. The big thinker never asks, what is the absolute least I must do? They always ask, what is the absolute most I can contribute right now? And this is not about sacrificing your life to your career. It is about establishing a pattern of excellence in everything you touch. When you consistently deliver more than is expected, you send a powerful, unspoken message to yourself and the world. I am a person of excellence, worthy of bigger challenges and bigger rewards. This consistency creates a positive feedback loop. Greater contribution leads to greater opportunity, which reinforces the habit of thinking big. The willingness to do more is the price of admission to the arena of success. To practice this, in your next major task, identify the single deliverable that will elevate the entire project from satisfactory to outstanding. This is your extra mile. It might be a detailed executive summary, an innovative presentation format, or a proactive analysis of a future risk. Do not wait to be asked. Make the decision right now to volunteer for a responsibility that falls slightly outside your current job description, specifically one that forces you to stretch your skill set. The genius of the magic of thinking big lies in its radical simplicity and its profound connection to universal wisdom. While it precedes much of modern behavioral economics, its central thesis that our internal narrative dictates our external reality is echoed in Stoic philosophy's focus on controlling our judgments and in modern cognitive behavioral therapy's emphasis on challenging negative core beliefs. The book is not merely about accumulating wealth. It is a manual for constructing a powerful psychological self. A common misunderstanding, a critical caveat, is that thinking big means being boastful or having unrealistic expectations. This could not be further from the truth. Schwartz advocates for a disciplined, methodical form of thinking. Big thinking is simply about seeing things as they could be, not as they are now. It is the belief that improvement is always possible and that one is obligated to always pursue it. This philosophy is not a substitution for hard work. It is the catalyst for it. Without the belief in a grand outcome, hard work remains directionless labor. When married to a magnificent vision, however, that same labor becomes an unstoppable force. The big thinker is never idle. They are always calculating, planning, and moving, because their destination requires a massive expenditure of energy, and they are excited to pay the full price. Ultimately, the magic of thinking big distills down to a single, transformative action you must commit to. Reject the evidence of your current circumstances and instead, manage the thoughts you choose to harbor. The most valuable commodity you possess is not your bank balance or your current title. It is your mental self-portrait. Do you see a perpetually limited employee, or do you see a leader capable of commanding a vision? The size of the box you draw around your own potential will determine the circumference of your entire life. The revelation at the heart of this entire philosophy is that the power you seek is not hidden in some arcane ritual or market secret. The magic is not the process, the magic is you. It is the terrifying, yet exhilarating realization that a single, sustained, and utterly enormous belief is the only catalyst required. The time for intellectual curiosity is over, and the time for action is now. You must look at the small thinkers who surround you and decide if you are willing to let their limited projections define the ceiling of your own existence. If this summary has done its job, if it has initiated a seismic shift in your mental architecture. To continue this journey, subscribe to the channel and enable the notifications. And tell us what is the single most crippling small thought that you will consciously identify and crush tonight. Always remember, the path to the extraordinary does not wait for tomorrow. It begins the very moment you commit to one powerful, immense thought.